Hello and welcome back, and in this video now we are going to look at how we can build other pages. So right here you can see the project that we are building, and right now you can see we have this page here, and this is our home page here. So but now we need other pages like event list page, and here let me show you what event list page I mean. So here in event list we'll have all the list that we have for the events. So let it load, and you can see here these are the list of the events that we have. So all the events will be added here, and here in the sidebar you can see we have this like a filter whereby we can also add our filters and then filter this event according to the filters that we'll input here. So that's what we'll be doing in this video. So if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload the next episode. Now let's look at how we have been coding our application. So if we come here in our code and then come here in our index, in our pages, then in our index here, you can see we have added our navbar component, our featured component, our events component, and then our footer component. But here, because we need other pages, because if we do like this, we won't be organizing our code in the best way. So what I'll do, I'll just add all these components in just one component, and I will call that component home. So in here, let me open the folder for the components. Let me click here and add a file, and this file here I'll call it home.jx, just like that. And then after that, now what I'll do is that I'll use the shortcut RASFCE. So after that, now we now have this here, this as a component. So what we can do, we can start adding our components. So first one is navbar, and here you'll see that we'll have auto completion. But if we don't have auto completion, what we can do, we can import the components that we have. So the first component is our navbar, so import. So we can import our navbar here. So our navbar, and our navbar we are getting it from, let me add .navbar. So this one here. Also we need to have another component that is featured. So import featured here, just like that, from, let's say, featured, and then the other one is let's import the events component. So from the events, just like that. The other thing is that we need also to import the last one, which is footer. So this is a footer, and footer is coming from this footer here, just like that. I think it should be like ./footer, something of the sort. So now after this one here, we need to add like navbar. So I'll add here navbar, just like that, and then let me add it like that. Then after that, we will add the way they have followed themselves. So featured, something of the sort. Then we need to have events. So events here, this is another component, and then lastly we need to have footer. So we need to have footer, just like that. Okay, so after that, now let me format my code so that we remove these extra spaces. So after that, now let's come here in our index here. Now rather than now importing all these components, we need only to import our home component, because our home component has we have all the components there which are shown on the first page. So after that, I think I have not imported our home here. I can see here I don't have home. So what I'll do, let me change one of these. So I'll add here home, and then here I'll call home. So this is home, just like that. And then because we have this one here, let me copy and then let me cut it off, and then let me format the code again. So you can see the use of prettier. And then the other thing is that here in our home also, let us save, and let's go back into application and see if we have the error. So here I can see as if we have an error. So here we can see the components and home is not existing. So what can we do here? So what I'll do, let me check where the problem is. So here, let's go back into our index here, and then what can we do here? So let me see. Actually, this is home and this is home. So we cannot call it home, because we can see this component here is called home. This one, the index here, has a function that is called home, and also we have this here. We have this component here called home. So what I'll do, I'll call this home page. So let me Control D and then select all homes and then add it like home page. So I'll just say home page, just like that. So when we change that and then come back here, I can add here home and then page, just like that. And then here we can add as home page, just like that. So let's see if our error is gone. So let's come back here, and failed has already been declared. So I think after it has loaded, now the error will be gone. So we are waiting to see if there is any error. So we don't have error now. So our application is working correctly. But now we need to have another page, that is event list page here. And to do that in Next.js, we don't need to start using routes. If you have used React, you know you need to configure router. It is called React Router DOM, but in Next.js it is simple. So you just need to come here in this folder called pages, and pages come by default with our component, but our default component, or our next starter kit for our application. So I'll just come here and then I'll add another component, and I call it eventslist here .jxx as our component here. So something of the sort, and then I'll say rfsce. So after that, now let us save. And now if we have added here this component here inside our pages folder, now that means that is another page. So let's come here and try and using the same name here that we have actually added as the component name, let's try and go to the roots for the same name. So here I'll just say slash events list, just like that. And then let's try and go to that route here. So for the Next.js, that's how you add another page in your application. So let it load, and then you can see here we have another page, and this page now is event list. So we start now building the event list here. So now if we look at our event list page here, you can see we have this sidebar and main bar here. So sidebar here hold our filters options like location, date, event type, and price range. And in our main bar here, it holds all our events so that we can filter using these sidebar filters. So that's what we'll be doing. So let's come here. And then in our code here, we have this. But before that, we need also to have our navbar and then our footer. So the first thing that we'll add here is our navbar. So let's have our navbar also. So if we need to have our navbar, we need to import it. So I'll just add here as let me add as navbar. So navbar, just like that. You import from the component, just like that. And then we need also to have our footer here so that it can be replicated on this page here. So this one here, we import it, but this is not the right way to do it. I will show you at the end how to do it correctly so that you can duplicate navbar and the footer for every page that you are building. So after that, now the other thing that we are going to add now is our CSS file. So already you know how we add the CSS file. So in here, in our styles here, you come and then write let's say events list here, and then let me call it modules, or modules just like that, css, just like that. So after that, now let's go back into our event list here, and then I'll import. And actually, to make our work easier, what we'll do, we'll just copy for another component, like for this one here. So I'll just copy like this one here. Let me copy, and then when I copy, and then let me look for the event list component. So here I'll just paste it, but here, because it is event list, let me change event list here. So just like that. So now we can be able to write our CSS in our file, that is eventlist.module.css, and import that styles, or affect that the styles here in the event list. So the other thing that we also need to do is to add our container. So I'll just say div, and in here we need to have a container that will be holding both the sidebar and the main bar. So I'll just say class name, and then inside here I'll say styles dot container. So I can use container to style the card. So the other thing is that we need to have sidebar. So this one here, I'll call it class name, and then here I'll add styles dot sidebar. Let me add it sidebar here. And the other one is let me add div, and then after that we need to have our class name here. Actually is a class name, yes, class name. And then here we need to have styles, and then dot event, actually side main bar, that is, sorry for that. So just like that. So right now we'll start creating our sidebar first of all. And the sidebar, what I mean is the one that holds the filters. Or if you come here, and then here, this one here, this will be creating something that looks like this one here. So after that, I think up here we have a problem, and then you can see here import module not found. So here we have misspelled, if I'm not wrong. So here let's look at how we call this events list dot module, or I call it dot modules, and it should be module, yeah. So it is modules, yeah, I call it modules. So I think I can rename it. So let me rename it. So here it's module, not modules. So just like that, and then let's see if we have, it's okay now. So here I can see can't resolve module events list dot modules dot css. So what I'll do is that I can actually, let me check. I think it is loading, so let's wait and see if the error is gone. Yeah, the error is gone. So here you can see our footer and also our navbar, which makes sense because we have not added any code inside here. So what we'll do now, let's create our, in our events list here, let's create our sidebar here. So the first thing that we'll do in our sidebar is to add this h2 tag here, and in here I'll say find events, that is our header here. And then after that also we need to have we need to add another div inside here, and this div here will give it a class name, and this will have a class name of search or filter, whatever you want to call it. So I'll just call it search, just like that. And then after that, inside here we now be having label. So we have label here. This one label here, we'll call it location. And then after that we have our input. So here we need to have our input, and our input here, actually our input here will have also like a placeholder. So let me add here a placeholder, and our placeholder we can say here London, just like that. So we need to have another label and input. So let me copy this to make our work easier, and then after that let me paste it here. For this one, we will call it like the date. I think this is date, yes. So, or I can confirm, don't think I think it's date. So if I come here, let me check. So it is date, and then event type, yeah. So yeah, we need to have that. So we need to have date here, and then here is the date. So here I can add anything, like I can say 2023, and then June, and then something like maybe date 11. And then after that also we need to have another label, but this time because now we have we need to use the, you need to have event type, also a filter for event type. Here I'll say this is event type here, and then we'll have select and then option, select here, and then inside our select we'll have our options. And here, because I don't want us to waste a lot of time, I've already created those options. What I'll do is that I'll copy all our options just like that, and then let me paste it here. So I'll just paste them here, and let me format our code. So when we format it, it looks nice. So the other thing is that also we can copy this and then copy it and then paste it, because we need also to have a price range filter. So here we can have price range, because we need also to filter according to price range. So in our price range here also I have already created options. So I'll just copy our options and then paste it here. So let me paste it here just like that. And then after that, now let me also format our code. So the other thing that I think we need to have, I don't think there's another thing that we need to have. Actually, that's okay. So let's see how our filters look like in our application. So you can see our sidebar here, and actually we have not done any styling. So that's why you can see it is not arranged as we want. So now let's go now into our CSS, and then now style our events list page, and mostly we'll start with our sidebar, so that now we can be able to continue with our main bar. So I'll come here. So this is event list here, and the first thing that I'll do is that I'll go logically. So first of all, I'll style the container, and container here I'll just say display flex. So this is display flex here, just like that. The other thing is that we need to now to start styling the sidebar. So this is sidebar here, and our sidebar here I'll just say flex. I'll give it a flex of 2. So let me flex 2 here. And then the other thing is that we need to have our background image. So a background image like that. And in here we also need to have like a linear gradient. So we have a linear gradient, and here the linear gradient will start to the left. So we need to say to the left, it should be to the left, and then RGBA. Actually, let me copy because I had already created it. So this is like to just give it a gradient overlay over it. So here I'll just paste it just like that overlay. And then the other thing is that we need also to have inside here, after now we have added this gradient here, also we need to have like let's say a URL. So a URL here. So if we need to have a URL here so that we can add an image. So because I had already also looked for an image in a Pixabay website, let me copy all of it here, and let me add it here just like that. So actually now I think the other thing that I'll do is just to format, and I think because it should be this URL here, can see we have an error, so I think it should be outside here. So it should be outside this here, it should be outside here, so it should be outside just outside the left here. So here we need to have this image here. No, I'm making a lot of white spaces. So the other thing options that we can add is our background cover. Background cover here. So background cover. So we need to have a background color. I don't know why I can't see background. Actually background size, that is. So yes, and then cover. And the other thing that also we need actually here, we should have like a semicolon here. The other thing that we also need to have is our background position. So background position here, and have a center, because remember this is an image that we are putting in our background of our container, that is sidebar. The other thing is that we need also to have a height. We give it a height of, let's say, 100%, and the width also will be of 100%. So our image should hold or cover the whole width and height. And then the other thing is that we need to have also the margin, and the margin here I'll add it as 30 pixel. After that, now let's go and style the other thing. So here I need to first of all format our code. So we have formatted our code because I'm making a lot of these white spaces. So outside here in our sidebar, we need to have our sidebar here, and then let's style our header, which is h2, and our header here we need to give it several stuff, like we need to style it. So here display flex, and then the other thing is that we need to align it, to align items to the center. The other thing is that we need also to give it justify content to be also center. The other thing is the need to give font family to be this one. I'll give it Roboto, just like that. And then the other thing is that we need also to give a padding of, let's say, 20 pixels. And I think the last thing that we can add here also is, let's say, let me add it like color of like a white color here. So let's see first of all how our card look like. So if we load here, you can see we have this, and here you can see we are having this in a horizontal. So what we can do is that also we need to style it, to style like need to give a styling to our sidebar again, because remember we need to, let me see here, remember we need to have to style this here, that is we are calling it search here. So to style our search, let's do styling for our search. so that we can align items to the in a vertical way, these filters here. So let's go into our event list here, and then let us select, actually because I want us to go in a logical way. So I'll come here, and in our search here, the first thing that we need is to give it a height of, let's say, auto, just like that. And then I'll give it width, a width of, let's say, 80%. The other thing that we need is our background color, and our background color, I'll give it here like RGBA. And then because we need to have like a transparent white, I'll give it 255, and then 255, and then also 255. And then here, that's where we specify the gradient, we give it 3. So the other thing is that we can style here. Now we can style like how the searches should look like. So I say display flex, just like then, and then say flex direction to be column. The other thing is that we need also to have a margin to be 10%, and then we need to have a padding of, let's say, 10 pixels, just like that. So let us save, and let's see how it looks like. So we have saved, and after it has load again, let's see how it will look. So here I can't see any difference. That means we can be having some issues on maybe the how we have added the class name. So here the class name is search here, and actually here is where the problem is. We need to have added it like styles and then search, like that. So after that, let me save it, and then let's see the changes. So let it load, and then let's see the changes here. So yeah, you can see we have all this, and actually because we have given this one, we have not styled like a main bar. That's why you can see we are having it occupying the whole width here. But I want to just style the main bar, so I can give the main bar like a flex of, let's say flex of 4. So I can come here and say the main bar here, and then let's give it a flex of 4, so that we can be able to give it like a certain length, that is. So let's see if it changes, and then let it yeah, you can see. So here you can see we have this sidebar here, although it is not looking like this one here. We are getting there, but I think this one will be on the next video, where we'll be styling this. And because we need to have also to, or maybe let's actually let me style it first of all. So in here, after the search, now we can also select, let me select search, and then here I don't want our video to be that long, so I'll just take the select, or let me start with the input. So here we just give the input, so select the input, and our input we can give it a padding of, let's say, 10 pixels. The other thing that we can do is that we can use a margin. So the margin here we can give it 10 pixels. Also we need to have a border, so a border of let's say none. And the other thing is that we need to have an outline also to be none. And what else? So we need to have a font weight to be 900, just like that. The other thing that we can also do is to do search. So search, and then you can get the select here, and then you do the padding of, let's say, 10 pixels also, 10 pixels. And the other thing is that also we need to have like margin So margin of, so the margin should be like 10 pixels. The other thing is that we need to have a border. So a border here, and this border will give it none, and then outline also will be none. So it's like the one for the input, none. And then font weight to be 900. And then the other thing is that you need to select like the label, so here, and then select the label here, and this select label will give it color of white. So the color should be white. And then the other thing is that you need to have a font weight of 900, something of the sort. Now after that, I think the other thing is that we need to select our button, although we don't have a button. So let's see, actually let's see how it looks like now. So here, after we have saved it, now you can see how it looks like. So right now you can see we have our sidebar created. So now we need our main bar here. Which will be doing it in the next video now. So here you can see how beautiful it is, this sidebar and the filters that are in here. So when you select here, you can see you can select according to the type of event, and also the pricing here. So after that, now let's see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload the next episode, that is. So let's see you in the next video.